Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, episode 176. I'm your host, Nathan, and I'm joined by the man himself, Matthew Neves, to my left.
Thank you, thank you.
And today, we are going to be reviewing Adam Sandler's highest rated and lowest rated film. If you're wondering what those films are, you could probably guess them if you know Adam Sandler's filmography. His highest rated film is Paul Thomas Anderson's Punch Drunk Love, a absolute classic.
Oh, yeah.
And his lowest rated film is Jack and Jill, an infamous, very infamous film of his. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend half this episode talking about Punch Drunk Love and then the other half on Jack and Jill. And do you want to get the bad one over with first, or do you want to talk about Punch Drunk Love?
Let's talk about Punch Drunk Love. You know what? Let's talk, and then whatever time we have left, because I know we're gonna talk and praise Punch Drunk Love a lot. Whatever remaining time, we could talk about Jack and Jill.
Yeah, there's not that much to say about Jack and Jill.
Right? There really isn't. But Adam Sandler's career as a whole, I feel like, is interesting because unlike other SNL alumni, it's this weird contrast that he's had over the years. In my opinion, he is the most popular SNL alumni. I think he beat out Eddie Murphy for a number of reasons. One being Happy Madison.
Yeah.
That company, that corporation, he really nailed a particular type of humor and movies around the 2000s that a lot of people still watch to this day.
Yeah.
But around that time, early 2000s in particular, he worked with Paul Thomas Anderson on Punch Drunk Love. This is around the time he was doing The Waterboy, Little Nicky,
Yeah, so look, I have here the 2001 he does The Animal.
Yeah, he worked on that.
2002 he's in Mr. Deeds.
Oh, classic.
And then in the same year he's in Punch Drunk Love.
But here's the thing, though, and he's smart about this, financially speaking. Mr. Deeds, I think, grossed over $100 million at the box office. This was a big comedy at the time. Actually, $171 million. Punch Drunk Love bombed at the box office. A lot of Paul Thomas Anderson films don't make a whole lot of money, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's the sad reality. Punch Drunk Love made $24 million off a $25 million budget.
Wow.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. However, a lot more praise came from Punch Drunk Love.
But think of it makes sense though, because think about being in 2002, what you've seen Sandler in up to that point and what you think of him.
Oh, exactly. He's the goofy frat boy.
I'm going to go to the theater to watch a romance movie starring Adam Sandler in 2002. You think it's like a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I see why people didn't take that movie seriously. And now, in hindsight, we look at Adam Sandler's career and he's done some cool stuff, especially lately with Uncut Gems and Hustle and some of these other things that he's been doing. And I've been loving it. I think, he's a reason why he's the most successful SNL alumni is because he stood the test of time and he's adapted.
Absolutely. But what's funny about it, too, is you bring up Hustle and Uncut Gems. For every one of those movies, he still has that, I'm going to make Happy Gilmore too.
Oh, yeah. Or he's like, I'm going to do 2 murder mysteries back to back.
And people are like, what? Why? And it's like, well, because Netflix is paying him now.
Yeah.
And it's, I can't even blame him for that.
One for them, one for me.
Literally. Well, it's been like that for over 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not like this is a new phenomenon from Adam Sandler where he's like, I'm making tons of money doing this. It's like, no, he's always been making money doing it. Once in a while, if he feels passionate about a particular movie like Spaceman, that's clearly not a movie that he wants to make hundreds of millions of dollars out of.
Spaceman, I didn't even think about that. You're right. That was cool too.
It was a cool performance from him because it was something really different. He wasn't just doing Billy Madison again.
Yeah.
And that's I can respect that, I mean, obviously the next film we're going to talk about from him, Jack and Jill, falls into the category of, the Happy Madison typical comedy movies, whereas Punch Drunk Love was just like something he wanted to take a chance on. Not a lot of comedic actors take chances like that, especially coming from a direction like this, which I fucking respect. I mean, I might be biased, but this is one of my favorite films of all time.
So the origins of kind of Adam Sandler getting this film is Paul Thomas Anderson seeing a sketch on SNL called The Denise Show.
Oh, is that the phone call where it's like my ex-girlfriend and
Yeah,
stuff?
exactly.
I
And you
fucking
see
love
it,
that.
right?
I love it. Yeah.
Because he has what he has in this film is like he turns into this blind rage, and he turns it on and off at will.
Yeah.
And that skit has that. When you see it, it's like, oh yeah, that's the same character.
Oh my
in
God.
a version of him, you know. And when doing the research, he saw this skit and was like, yep.
It's almost like prototypes too, because that was around the early '90s for him.
Yeah.
He kind of plays that character in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
That turn of events of him being the hockey player and
Yeah.
stuff like that. He's like, and then he just beats the shit out of
yeah,
someone.
nice guy who just like beats the shit out of Bob Barker.
Yeah, I mean, another thing to address too is that SNL for Sandler was interesting because his group of friends, they were fucking stacked, dude.
Yeah.
All right, they were funny. They were great writers.
It was
and
a
stuff.
special time.
You know. And with Sandler, I remember a lot of cool moments of him, you know, playing the Hanukkah song and stuff like that. But a lot of his characters were very like simple. Opera man, canteen boy, dot man, this boy. It's like very simplified. It was probably due to the fact that he wanted to be more, or not himself, but just have a relatable character and have a quick punchline at the end.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about Sandler, unlike the other SNL stars like a Mike Myers or a Jim Carrey, was that turn of going from calm, collective to convincingly angry. In my opinion, convincingly upset. And that's hard to come by. And I think Paul Thomas Anderson noticed that not just from the SNL skit, but Happy Gilmore as well, because he's praised that film. And he's just like, I wanted to do that with this movie.
Yeah, and just looking at where Paul Thomas Anderson is in his career at this point. So 2002, I mean, some of his biggest hits are definitely ahead of him. You know, he made Boogie Nights a few years before that, which obviously
amazing.
We love. Heart 8, I enjoyed as well as his first film.
Yeah.
Magnolia before this too, so
that was an epic.
He already showed that he's an elite director, and I think he takes a big chance doing a film like Punch Drunk Love, a romance film that you don't necessarily expect from him.
It's a nice turn of events because you go after Magnolia. Magnolia was like big in terms of performances, in terms of the amount of cast members from that film.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour film too.
3-hour film. Everyone's got their A game in there. Like Philip Seymour Hoffman is fucking terrific in that, and I'm so glad he's in this film as well because you can see the dynamic he has with Sandler when they're yelling at each other. And oh my god,
that scene when they're yelling on the phone. Philip Seymour Hoffman does some of the best acting I've ever. Bro, there's this moment where he's talking on the phone, and he like goes like this, like he's about to throw it, but then puts it back.
Yes,
and the way he does that, he needs an Oscar for that one moment. Like it's some of the best acting I've ever seen. Those scenes are so memorable. Every scene he's in, like how much screen time does he have in this film?
Not that much.
5 minutes.
Yeah, but he makes an impact.
It's such a good 5 minutes.
Did you ever watch that quick little video that they did for this movie where he's like the mattress salesman commercial? It was like, hey, it's me, Dean something. I'm selling mattresses. This is amazing because it's just one shot and it's just a close up of Philip Seymour Hoffman with his guitar. He's standing on like a truck. And the mattresses are on the ground. He's like, oh, sell mattresses, 2 for 1, whatever, free. Get it out today. He jumps on the mattress. He bounces off and hits the ground. And everyone's like, oh, shit. And he's like, no, I'm okay.
No way.
Oh, shit.
I got to see
that. I knew that was going to happen. It's like a 2-minute skit. Paul Thomas Anderson directed it because he just loved that. He loved Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was a great actor. He wanted
it's here in his credits. Mattress Man commercial.
Yeah. It's free on YouTube. Recommend it. It's amazing. Another part of Punch Drunk Love that I love is the utilization of Shelley Duvall's song "He Needs Me," which I don't know if you know where that song comes from. It came from the movie Popeye, where she played Olive Oyl.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
And Popeye is one of those films where you have one amazing moment from Shelley Duvall singing that song, and she plays Olive Oyl amazingly. 11 out of 10 performance. I think she outshines Robin Williams as Popeye, to be honest with you. And the rest of the film sucks. Like, I'm not a huge fan of it, but that particular song was so good. And a cool story I heard about it was Popeye was directed by Robert Altman. famous director. He was known for a lot of these more underground films that dealt with more personal subject matter. So him directing Popeye was like out of the blue.
Right.
Like, what?
Odd, yeah.
Very odd. But he was friends with Paul Thomas Anderson later in his life. Paul Thomas Anderson shows him a cut of Punch Drunk Love with the Shelley Duvall song, and he just starts crying. He's like, man, you understood how to use that song better than I did.
Yeah.
And I love that moment. I fucking love that moment because this guy is like 50 years older than Paul Thomas Anderson. You know, this guy's been directing since like the 60s and 70s. And to get that emotional moment from him, from this movie,
The score is an incredibly underrated part of this movie.
It is. It really is.
I don't think that's the first thing that people usually talk about when they talk about Punch Drunk Love. But from the opening sequence, like the whole opening sequence, the unsettling music that plays throughout it just works really well for me. It makes me feel what he's feeling.
The music by John Bryan, I totally feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel Sandler's character in those moments. Whenever he feels anxious, you feel it in the song. Or the lack of music, too.
Yeah.
It knows how to use the music at certain parts of the movie. Like there's a part where they get hit by that one car and the car spins around and stuff. This is one of the most unique fight scenes I've seen in any movie. Because the way Sandler does it, he's like, he buttons up his fucking suit and just like fucking hits the guy, gets the crowbar, smashes it.
It hits so different. I love it. I love that scene.
Because it's his character that reflects the actions too. It's not just mind-numbing action of some dude doing backflips and punching the shit. There's a part where he like points at the guy, and then just drops
gives it to him. Gives him the weapon. It's so good.
Because that's his character. He's not Jason Statham where he's like, I'm going to beat everyone up and then I'm going to look at my girl and say, you're going to be fine and stuff. No, the scene ends with him closing the door and he's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's like, are you okay? It's fine. It's fine. And that is credit to Sandler. That's credit to Paul Thomas Anderson's direction. That's credit to the camera work because they have the camera on the door of the car. So when he closes it, you have that.
It's beautiful. And on a surface level, you might be like, oh, like he just beats the shit out of everyone. Like it's kind of an unexpected scene.
Yes.
But then when you kind of take it in, it's like it's just a reflection of like he has love in his life now and he could do anything because of it.
Yeah.
And it's empowered him. He feels something and he feels like you feel, what's the word that I'm looking for here?
Like you can
feel
relate.
invincible.
Invincible.
Like, you feel invincible because of this feeling that he's been longing for so long.
Yeah.
And now that he has it, he could do whatever.
Absolutely. And they don't have to say it. They show it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of film. There's a part where he's in the phone booth and he's waiting for her to answer. And you're waiting. It's like, can I speak to so-and-so and stuff? And it's this beautiful wide shot where everyone's walking past him while he's in the phone booth. The fucking phone booth lights up when you hear her voice.
Yeah, that's a beautiful touch. That's a beautiful touch.
It's not complicated, guys. You feel it in your heart when you do a scene like that. I can feel that. It's like, he fucking gets it. The music hits too when that happens. And it's like little moments like that I wish more romantic comedies did. Just romantic films in general. They don't get enough credit because they think that dialogue and the attractiveness of the actors is all you need. You got to do more than that. This is the art of film you got to do.
Yeah, this is such a beautiful example of it. Of like, hey, a romance movie doesn't need to be what you just said.
Yeah.
It could be a good romance movie still and do a lot more.
Yeah. And that's where it falls into this category. And this is where I think about other directors like Denis Villeneuve or Christopher Nolan, where I'm just like, you know, it'd be cool. Like, I understand Nolan's doing The Odyssey, but like, what if he just did a rom-com?
Yeah.
What if he just did a rom-com, picked two actors he's worked with for over 20 years and said, I'm going to do this. 90-minute rom-com. Let's see what I can do with that. To me, that would be more challenging and more impressive if he does it even better than his other films. That's the thing that with Paul Thomas Anderson, he could have went a more different route where it's like, I'm just going to do Magnolia, but even bigger.
Yeah.
This and even bigger than that. And it's just like, you don't have to. You could just do this. And to me, this is my favorite film from him because of that.
And after this, he doesn't direct for years.
I think 5 years until
There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And There Will Be Blood. That's a fucking epic, dude.
Yeah.
That's a fucking epic. Same with like The Master and a lot of these other films too. Yeah.
Yeah, then he goes back on his. Damn, man. Damn.
We did cover Paul Thomas Anderson in an episode. Definitely check it out. But covering more specifically about Punch Drunk Love and just Adam Sandler and his career around this time, it's a risk. And it's a risk I'm glad he did, because a lot of people probably looked at this and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't Billy Madison. Yeah. This isn't The Water Boy. You know, I don't like this. It's like, take a chance.
This movie, it embodies risk because it's Paul Thomas Anderson stepping out of his comfort zone, making a film in a genre he's never done before. It's Adam Sandler acting in a dramatic role for the first time in his career.
Yeah.
And doing it convincingly, man. Like, he's really good in this movie. Is this your favorite Adam Sandler acting performance?
Yes. I do love Uncut Gems. I really, really do.
To me, it has to be Uncut Gems.
You'll pick Uncut Gems. I think it really.
That movie was made for me.
Yeah, no,
It's
exactly.
my movie, but
the anxiety in that movie fucking hits, and there is like I've rewatched it a lot of times, but this one I've rewatched the same amount. I just feel more emotion from it because there's certain parts where, like when he goes to his sister's house. And they're all like talking about him, and it gets louder and louder, and you can see that anxiety. And then he just breaks the window and stuff like that.
It's incredible,
dude. And he's talking to like the was it brother-in-law or something like that. I was like, I don't know. I think I need help. Or you're a doctor and stuff. He's like, well, I'm a dentist. Like, if you want, I can recommend. Like, and that's the cool thing about this movie is that it's still funny.
Yeah,
it's not Happy Madison humor. But it's funny.
There's very funny moments in this movie.
And Sandler fucking nails it with that humor because it's very dry, where it's just like your hand's bleeding. It's like, it's nothing and stuff. It's like, did you destroy that bathroom? It's like, no, I don't think so. It's like, you just came out of it, and he's like trying to reason with him. And then the guy at the end is like, sir, you're going to have to get the fuck out of here. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much funny scenes in this. Like, the sex hotline stuff, I think, is so fucking funny. Obviously, whenever he's interacting with Philip Seymour Hoffman, it's so funny. But even the romantic scenes are funny.
Yeah.
Just their interactions with each other. And I just love them. The writing is incredibly strong. The cinematography, some shots like the Hawaii kiss.
Oh, my God.
That shot sticks with me in my head always.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. I love the cinematography when he leaves her apartment, and then she's on the phone saying, I really would have liked to kiss you.
Yeah.
And then he's running back trying to find her apartment, and they shoot like these hallways from really far away.
Yeah.
The cinematography is so beautiful in that sequence.
Yeah. It's so good. The look of this film, the music, the writing, the performances. Again, like it's something about
everything.
You ever watch a movie and it just hits you in a way that no other film could in that type of
in this genre, yeah.
Like, you can't even explain it. You can't even write it down.
Yeah.
Even if you wrote down like 50-paragraph essay, it's still not going to emulate those specific moments that you got out of this film. That's how I feel.
The feeling you get after watching this movie is a hard one to put into words.
Yeah.
But you feel fucking good about it, man.
Hell yeah.
You know, you feel really good about it.
I hope in the future Paul Thomas Anderson makes a film with Sandler again.
I'd love to see it happen. I know that they're like lifelong friends after this. I know they're really close. I know that.
I found out Paul Thomas Anderson's married to Maya Rudolph, also an SNL.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that Paul Thomas Anderson shot one of the establishing shots for Adam Sandler's stand-up comedy special. I don't know if you knew that.
That's amazing. Because I think one of the Safdie brothers directed it.
Yeah.
One of the Safdies directed. So that's really cool. PTA worked out. Fucking A,
yeah,
man.
he's like thanked in the credits, and he shot like an outside shot of the theater or something.
That's sweet. Just a little thing, but
it's just cool. Yeah, it's cool when they do stuff like that. And I would love to see them collaborate again, especially with what Sandler's doing lately.
Yeah, man.
Like he's
that
diving
recent
into
stand-up special too. Like,
I think he's getting better at acting still.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. I think the older you get when you're in the industry, the more you realize what type of roles you can do and you can perfect more of, you know.
He's getting better at acting. He really is. And I'd love to see him and PTA come back together and do that. That would be dope.
Hell yeah.
Your review, your rating for Punch Drunk Love.
It's a 5 out of 5 for me. 10 out of 10. It's one of my favorite films. It used to be on my Letterboxd top 4, but if anything, top 10 at least.
Yeah.
It's my top 10 favorite movies.
Also, I love the runtime of this movie.
Perfect.
It's so nice.
95 minutes. An hour and a half.
A beautiful romance story in an hour and a half, and it's all you need. There's no wasted time. No. I think I think for me, like, the romance genre is not necessarily my favorite. I think this is the best version of that.
Nice.
I think it's an 8 out of 10 for me.
Hell yeah.
But like it's right on the verge of being a 9 for me. And I think the more I rewatch it, the more I always like it. Like every time I see it, I like it more. It had been a few years. I watched it this week again. I'm like, yeah, it's stuck with me even more this time.
And the rewatchability is easier too because of its length. It's like you don't have to deal with 3.5 hour, 4 hours. It's like, no, it's very quick and it goes by fast too.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect, man. It kind of is. Like 8 out of 10 is not doing this film justice, to be honest. I gotta change it.
All good.
The more, because when I talk about it, I struggle to find the flaws.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the feelings.
Yeah.
It really is the feelings. This one hit me harder than any Paul Thomas Anderson film, hit me harder than any Adam Sandler film. It's the best of both worlds for them. Speaking of perfection, let's talk about Sandler's worst reviewed film.
Yeah, 9 years later, Adam Sandler does Jack and Jill. And
I saw this in theaters.
you saw this in theaters in 2011?
Trinity, Common, Brampton.
Holy
I saw
shit.
that. I had a Burger King burger. It was bad. And it kind of reflected on a lot of the movie's quality too.
Yeah.
What I ate.
Remembering what you ate is so funny.
I just remember how awful that burger was, and that's why I don't go to Burger King. I go to McDonald's, even though they're both shit fast food places. Anyways, little rant. Jack and Jill, is it Sandler's worst film? Obviously, a lot of people would say yes. I would say it was the tipping point for a lot of people in terms of, okay, we're done with this.
Yeah.
This is...
Like, I'm split on a lot of Sandler's comedies before this.
Yeah.
Some of them I like. Some of them I think are really stupid. And some of them, a lot of them I think have aged very poorly.
I think so. For every, you know what, I'll give some passes. I call it the Sandler pass, where I'm like, anger management. Okay, I'll let that pass.
Oh, that's a Sandler pass.
I like Nicholson in that.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
That movie is absurd. It's not very good, but I like watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
I look forward to the fucking Yankee Stadium sequence. Like I look forward to
those are nice. Yeah. So I can be like that, but then also like, I'm sorry guys, I know there's some people who are fans of it, but 8 Crazy Nights I cannot fucking do, man.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the fact that it was the same animators as the Iron Giant. And they're doing a shitty Sandler.
That pissed you off, eh?
Dude, I felt like I was gonna kill when I realized that. So yeah.
But Jack and Jill, the premise of this movie, Adam Sandler plays is like a producer. He does like
he's a marketing advertiser, which is really, really clever considering how much product placement is in this film.
which is a classic Sandler trope, but this time they're just like
They don't fucking care.
they don't care.
They do everything.
They talk about
I gotta advertise Subway.
Yeah.
It's like
They talk about every brand that there is to talk about in this movie.
no.
And basically he has a sister who, guess what, is him also.
Wow.
And and Al Pacino, he wants to get Al Pacino
For a Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
This is the goal, this is the inciting incident of this movie is the Dunkin' Donuts just released the Dunkachino,
Yes.
and his mission is to get Al Pacino in the commercial.
Yep.
And that's what happens in this movie. Al Pacino falls in love with his sister.
Yep.
And he basically tries to kind of, manipulate his sister to get Al to do the commercial.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. There's like some hijinks, obviously, where Jill is trying to find someone to fall in love with, and you kind of feel the runtime with this one. You know what's sad? This movie's shorter than Punch Drunk Love. It feels much longer.
Yeah. The emotional moments just are so bad. A lot of the jokes are so bad that they come off as just like distasteful. Like
they're
they're just fucking
very
terrible.
distasteful.
Like the old fucking grandma where they're like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
feed her a pepper
Feed
to
her a
revive
pepper.
her. Like
The Mexican, like,
oh.
hey man, how's it going? That's how they all talk, in an Adam Sandler production. No, that's bad.
Yeah.
What I think is even worse though is what you said before with when it tries to get emotional.
Oh my god.
You think it's comedic. You think, oh no, there's a twist to this, right? It's like, no, they're trying to. And I notice a lot of Happy Madison films, the really bad ones, try this. Like, what was it? The Wrong Missy with David Spade. Did you hear about
Oh
that one?
yeah.
Where David Spade was like, oh geez, I think I do have a heart and stuff. It's like some of the most crude fucking jokes you could put in a film. It's disgusting, revolting, offensive, all this stuff. And then you try to have a heart at the end.
What's the point? Like in this movie, how silly, over the top bullshit it is.
Yeah.
Why does there have to be an emotional payoff? Like, it just makes no sense. It's just
Because you can tell the filmmakers don't care about that emotional part. It feels so tacked on where it's just like you should have doubled down and made it even more like more rough.
I think Al's good in this movie.
Oh, he's great.
I think Al commits to every single one of these bits.
Yeah.
And has the best line deliveries, has the best scenes, like the one where they break his Oscar trophy.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that's actually the only one I have.
The only one I got.
Or when he takes a phone call on stage when he's doing
Yes.
a play. Like, that's so funny. That's actually genuinely funny. And then obviously the infamous Dunkachino commercial, which is historic.
I love the way that it ends too, because it kind of reflects on your experience watching Jack and Jill. It was like, what do you think? It's like, burn this.
Yeah, you gotta burn every copy.
All copies. Destroy them. Perfect way to end the movie. But at the end of the day, I think Jack and Jill was kind of like showing the worst, the ugly side of
And
Happy
the
Madison.
supporting actor, like not just Al. First of all, it's a fucking miracle Al's in this movie. Like Al was down bad with his money, and
He was.
and Adam Sandler caught him at a good time.
Yeah.
But even like the supporting, like the cameos in this movie are
many.
like solid actors that like David Spade as like a terrible woman,
Oh yeah.
like just a terrible character.
Was Drew Carey in this too? The Price is Right, or something?
There's a lot
Another Happy Madison issue too is that they have so much product placement. They have so many cameos of familiar faces in Happy Madison. So yeah, I bet you like Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald. They fumbled Norm Macdonald in this movie.
Well, remember he was the date to Jill and stuff like that. And he's like, I gotta go use the washroom, and he just runs off and stuff. But whatever. Again, too many actors, too much product placement, and at the you don't feel anything.
Yeah, Jack and Jill. Like aside, I'm glad the Dunkachino Al Pacino thing exists.
Yes, same.
And that's kind of its redeeming quality. Some very few of the jokes hit, like maybe 1 of 50 will hit.
Yeah, dude, and that ratio, man, you feel it. You feel it in the 90 minutes.
Yeah. Overall, Jack and Jill is a 1-star film.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 1 or half star. It might be my least favorite Sandler film.
Yeah.
That or The Ridiculous Six. That was bad too.
I didn't see that, but yeah, Jack. It's just this script needed to get rewritten.
Yep.
Yeah, let us know what you thought of this new format. We're thinking of picking some more actors, reviewing their highest rated and lowest rated films. Again, we had Punch Drunk Love with 79% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Jack and Jill with a beautiful 3%.
Yeah.
So that's Adam Sandler, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the range.
That's the range that he has. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you want us to do another actor. Let us know who in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to your boys. It means the world to us. And most importantly, do not forget to take care, brush your hair.
Peace.